In this video, I'm going to explain how to answer a tricky interview question. Why shouldn't we give you the job? Once you know how to answer this, you'll also know how to answer similar questions, so stick around if you're looking for a job because you'll need to know how to respond. Hi, I'm Amri Celeste. I'm an HR recruitment officer and a career coach, and this channel is dedicated to helping you through your job search by tackling the most difficult interview questions and situations. If you're searching for a job, then subscribe and tap the bell so you'll be the first to know when I post a new video. So you're sitting in an interview and you hear this dreaded, cruel question and you freeze. You don't know what to say, you fumble around for an answer, and maybe you just start speaking to break the awkward silence, say anything that comes into your mind, or worse, you start actually giving the real reason that you don't think that you should get the job. I tend to be lazy, I'm too honest, I talk too much and sometimes it's disruptive, and you reel off what you think are your worst personality traits. So why do interviewers ask this question? Interviewers ask this question for a multitude of reasons, all relating to what they're looking for in the ideal candidate. Sometimes it's just to see how you react to a question like this. Do you get flustered? Do you give up and say you don't know? Do you reel off your most undesirable traits? Or do you stay calm and collected? They want to see how you approach the answer, and they often want to understand more about you. What you should not do. Don't be tempted to say, I work too hard, I'm too dedicated, or anything that is a variation of, I'm just too perfect. It's really lame and it's very transparent. How you should answer the question. You can approach the answer to this question in a similar way that you might approach the answer to the question, what are your weaknesses? So you would be showing the interviewer a bit of vulnerability, an area for improvement, or a skill that you're trying to develop. And you can talk about how you're working on this so that you're not focusing on anything that you feel is a negative skill set or an undesirable character trait. An example answer to this might be, I hold myself and my work to a very high standard. So sometimes I get caught up in the finer detail to the detriment of speed and deadlines. I identified this through self-analysis and seeking out feedback. What I've done to combat this over the past 18 months is put in place a system of checkpoints and set earlier deadlines. This allows me to see how much detail I'm adding to simple tasks and projects, and allows me to ensure that I focus on the necessities of each task. I can still add detail with any time left over, and then I stop when it's time for me to move on to the next task. After practicing this for over 18 months, I can now confidently say that I meet my deadlines with ease and I work much faster naturally without having to focus on time limits. So key highlights in this answer are here. You're being upfront here about the fact that you identify that you get caught up in detail. So you're not trying to make yourself seem flawless, which is very unnatural. You are saying straight off the bat, but at least 3/4 of your answer here is focused on the solution that you created for yourself, how you work through it steadily over time and where you are now. And you could even round off by bringing it back to the question and saying something like, I can appreciate this is still something I'm working on and could be perceived as a reason not to hire me, but I've been dedicated to making sure that this is actually becoming a strength, which ends on a really nice positive note. If you want to refer back to this answer, it's included in my free guide, which you can download below. Yes, I created 20 example answers for you from scratch. Click the link below this video to get those examples totally free. So what is the most difficult question that you've been asked in a job interview? I've heard some stories of some pretty difficult questions, but let me know in the comments below what experiences you've had. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, tap like and I will see you next week.